Welcome to Teacher Marlene Correa's grammar classes. In my last class, I explained to you what verbs are. Today we shall go into further study about the verb. Verbs are of two kinds, but before I teach you the kinds of verbs, let's learn what auxiliary verbs are. Auxiliary verbs are helping verbs. They help the main verbs. Okay. Now take for example the main verb is teach. The main verb is teach. Now if I want to help the main verb, I can put words like was teaching, is teaching. So I help the main verb in whatever state it is by putting these words called the auxiliary verbs. So I hope I am clear in telling you what auxiliary verbs are. They are helping verbs. They help a lot in framing a sentence. Now let's go to the two types of verbs. Okay, one verb is called the transitive verb and the other one is intransitive. You know that to frame a sentence we require a subject and most important is a verb. And sometimes a sentence is complete when you use an object. Simple sentence I will put. Rama made a kite. Made is a verb. I want you to pay attention to understand the meaning of a transitive or intransitive verb. I will tell you in which form this verb is. Rama made a kite. When I say Rama made, you will be very curious to know what he made. So the answer to this, what he made, is a kite. This is an object. And this is the subject. Now, when you have sentences like this, where the verb requires an object to complete its sense, such state of verbs are said to be in the transitive form. A transitive verb is a verb that requires an object to complete its sense. Otherwise, it means nothing. I hope you have understood this. I will go to the transitive verb. Then I will put a few sentences on the board to show you the difference between transitive and intransitive. The birds fly. Now, the birds is subject, fly is a verb. Now you just say birds fly. You don't require an object to complete its sense. By itself, this subject and the verb make sense. Such verbs which do not require an object to complete its sense are called intransitive verbs. Transitive verbs are verbs which require an object to complete its sense. Intransitive verbs do not require an object. So it's so very clear. There are umpteen sentences you can make to show the difference between transitive and intransitive verb. Now I'll put a few sentences on the board just to know, to find out which are transitive and which are intransitive. Is sort of an exercise. The dogs bark. Which is the verb here? Barks. I sleep. Sleep is a verb. The man made a box. Made is a verb. Abdul saw a snake. Full stop. Every sentence must have a full stop. So, too many cooks spoil. Among these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sentences, there are transitive verbs and intransitive verbs. You have a look at it. The dogs bark. Bark is a verb. It does not require an object to complete its sense. So, this belongs to the transitive verb. I sleep. Sleep does not require an object. What do I sleep? Does it make a meaning? No. So, sleep also is a transitive. This is intransitive. This is intransitive. The man made a box. What did the man make? A box. This is transitive because it requires an object to complete its sense. Abdul saw a snake. Abdul saw what? A snake. So, this sentence also is a transitive. Too many cooks spoil the broth. What do too many cooks spoil? The broth. It requires, this verb requires an object. So, this also belongs to transitive. Among the 5 sentences, you see 2 belong to intransitive and the 3 rest belong to transitive. Hope you do not get confused because a little, the board has been little untidy. So, now I hope it is clear what a transitive verb and intransitive verb is. Transitive verbs require an object to complete its sense. Its sense. What sense? Whose sense? The sentence. The verb. The verb requires an object to complete its sense, and this belongs to transitive. Verbs that requires an object to complete its sense is a transitive verb. The verbs which do not require an object to complete its sense is intransitive. Birds fly. Fly is intransitive. Rama made a box. Made here is transitive. You know, while using this sentences transitive and intransitive, sometimes you can use the same verb in 2 different forms. You can use the same word in the transitive form and also intransitive form. It doesn't mean that there are certain words which remain transitive and there are certain verbs that remain intransitive. No. Sometimes a transitive verb can be used in the intransitive form, which I will handle in my next class.